Hi everyone, put your chores aside for a minute. I want to share a story that will help you see your loved ones in a new light. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We hope you enjoy listening. They say coincidences rule the world. Little things, split-second decisions change fates, shatter routines, upend lives built over years. I never believed in that philosophical nonsense. I dismissed such talk as idle chatter over coffee in the kitchen when neighbors gossiped about the latest episode of a soap opera or some actress's fate. I didn't believe it until that very day, until the moment when my husband's toolbox flipped my entire life upside down, like a house of cards, scattering 20 years of shared existence in all directions. Michael had gone on a business trip to the Albany area for 2 weeks. Nothing unusual. He often traveled to construction sites, checking work quality, overseeing material deliveries, arguing with foremen. 20 years together, and I'd gotten used to his absences. I used to miss him, call every evening, but now, honestly, I even enjoyed the quiet and solitude. 2 weeks of freedom. I could binge-watch shows until dawn, skip cooking meatloaf and mashed potatoes, avoid endless stories about pipes, concrete, and lazy workers, not adjust to someone else's habits. I could just be myself. "I'll call when I get there," he said, tossing his beat-up Ford sedan, worn travel bag, and box of blueprints into the trunk. He looked tired, dark circles under his eyes, a vein pulsing on his temple. A sure sign his blood pressure was up. "Don't forget to water the ficus and check the gas meter. It's making a weird clicking sound." "Of course, honey," I replied automatically, already thinking about my evening. A warm bath, a glass of wine, a new book by Anne Tyler that I'd been wanting to read. "Be careful on the road." As always, Michael smirked and kissed me, quickly, almost formally, brushing dry lips against my cheek, like kissing an old aunt at a reunion. Well, I'm off. I waved as his asphalt-grey Ford pulled out of the driveway, 20 years together. Strange, but I felt no sadness or regret, only relief and anticipation. That day, I think it was Sunday. Rain poured outside, wet pavement reflected the grey sky, and fallen leaves floated in puddles. The kind of weather that makes you want to change something, at least in the apartment, if not in life. I wandered aimlessly from room to room, straightening already perfectly placed items. After Michael's departures, the apartment always seemed bigger, airier. Our son had long since moved to Boston for college, coming home only for holidays, and even then reluctantly. The house felt spacious and empty. I brewed strong coffee, sat by the window watching the rain, and suddenly decided, time for changes. Small home ones, but changes nonetheless. Do a little rearranging, move the bookshelf, clear a corner for that new armchair I'd dreamed of. Velvet, deep blue with a high back. A real reading chair, like in English novels. I set down the cup and headed to the living room, the old cabinet, inherited from Michael's parents, dark wood with carved doors. Heavy but with felt pads, it should slide. I braced my hands, pushed. The cabinet moved a couple inches. "Come on," I muttered, leaning in with all my weight, and then I saw it. In the corner, almost behind the cabinet, lurked my husband's heavy metal toolbox. Grey, chipped, with rusty spots on the sides. Michael always kept it in the room, though I'd asked 1,000 times to move it to the storage closet. "It's more convenient this way." I need it often, he'd brush off, and the toolbox stayed, gathering dust and taking up precious space. "Old junk," I muttered, grabbing the metal handles on the sides decisively. "Might as well move you too, since I'm rearranging." I tried to shift the toolbox. God, how heavy! What had he stuffed in there? Like it was filled with lead. The handles dug into my palms, feet slipped on the hardwood, sweat beaded on my forehead. No, this won't work. Need to unload it first, then move. I knelt, unlatched the rusty clasps on the sides, lifted the lid. The smell of machine oil, metal, and something elusive hit my nose. Inside, the expected chaos. Screwdrivers, pliers, adjustable wrenches, some gears, bolts, screws in rusty candy tins, a coil of wire, electrical tape, several packs of nails in different sizes, all jumbled, no system. How does he find anything in here? I sighed, starting to lay out the tools on the floor. He could at least sort them into boxes. Layer by layer, I emptied the toolbox. At the bottom, an old newspaper, The Daily Worker from 1986, soaked in machine oil. Apparently, Michael used it as padding so metal wouldn't scratch the bottom. I picked up the paper, intending to toss it. And then it all happened, like in slow motion. The toolbox, which I'd perched on the edge of a chair, tilted, slid down, and crashed to the floor with a bang. The lid flew off, the paper fluttered up, and the contents I hadn't finished removing scattered across the room. The noise was so loud that the downstairs neighbor, Mrs. Helen Brooks, probably grabbed her broom to bang on the radiator. She always did that if we made noise after 10 at night. I froze, watching screwdrivers, pliers, bolts, and screws roll across the floor. For a second, I stood motionless, then burst out laughing. God, how clumsy I am. Darn it, I swore, kneeling and starting to gather the scattered tools. Michael will be thrilled when he gets back. He'll say I did it on purpose. I crawled on the floor, peering under the couch, cabinet, armchair. The hammer rolled under the TV, the tape measure behind the heater, the wire coil under the coffee table, something glinted under the couch. I reached in and pulled out a key ring. Strange, I'd never seen it before. The keys weren't for our apartment, unfamiliar, with a blue plastic tag numbered 217. A hotel room, or apartment. Didn't look like safe or car keys, ordinary door keys, heavy. Shrugging, I tossed the find into the toolbox. Who knows what keys my husband keeps, probably from old locks we changed once. Having gathered almost all the tools, I noticed something else at the bottom of the upended toolbox. Not tools, something flat, wrapped in grey rag. Strange, I'd nearly emptied it to the bottom before it fell. Where did this come from? Curiosity is a powerful force. I pulled the edge of the rag and froze, staring at the contents, a maroon passport booklet. Not Michael's worn one that I knew, but a new one, like recently issued. Nearby, a stack of photos bound with a rubber band. Some documents in a clear file. My first thought, don't touch. Slam the toolbox shut, put it back, wait for my husband, ask directly. But my hand was already reaching for the passport. Fingers flipped open the first page on their own. Michael's photo stared at me familiarly. But the name. The name was foreign. James Victor Thompson. Birth date, Michael's. Birthplace, matched too. But surname, first name, middle, completely different. I blinked, disbelieving, read it again, looked at the photo. Definitely my husband, but with another name, James Victor Thompson. 20 years I'd lived with Michael Robert Davis. Which one is real? My heart pounded in my throat, temples throbbed. I flipped the passport page. Registration, Washington Avenue, House 15, Apartment 217, City of Hartford. The number on the tag, 217. Coincidence? Unlikely. In the passport, a marriage stamp. Citizen James Victor Thompson married citizen Sarah Miller. Date, June 12, 1994. Michael's signature. I recognized those slightly careless curls. Michael and I married in 1995, a year after he, apparently, married some Sarah. With trembling hands, I untied the rubber band on the photo stack. Yellowed snapshots from the 90s, glossy with scalloped edges. The first, a young woman holding a child, a pretty blonde, somewhat like me in my youth, with a boy about 3. On the back, blue pen, Hartford, 1996, Sarah with Ryan. I'd never been to Hartford. We have no acquaintance Sarah with sons, and Michael never mentioned any Ryan. I flipped through the photos one by one. Here's Sarah, in a swimsuit on a riverbank, smiling, squinting at the sun. Here's her by a Christmas tree, holding a little boy's hand in a bunny costume. Here's a picnic. Barbecue, young people with beer bottles. Sarah sitting on a spread blanket, and next to her. Next photo. The same woman, but with a man. They stand at the entrance of a typical 5-story building, smiling. The man has his arm around her shoulders, hand with a wedding ring. Michael, my husband, just looking younger and happier. Date on back. August 1998. Michael and I had been married 3 years then. Our son, Alex, had just started kindergarten. Next photo, Michael and the same boy, older, 6 or 7, standing by a sandbox, holding hands. The boy looks at Michael adoringly. Michael smiles so sincerely, openly. He rarely smiled like that at home, Summer 2000. Bushnell Park. I sat right on the floor amid the scattered tools. My ears rang like I'd dived deep underwater. All this time, Michael living in 2 homes, 2 families, 2 names. An envelope yielded another document, a birth certificate for Ryan James Thompson, 1995. Father, James Victor Thompson, mother, Sarah Miller. Issue date, November 1995. In November 1995, Michael and I were on our honeymoon. We went to Florida, stayed in a small beach motel, drank cheap wine, walked on pebbles, sunbathed. He brought me a seashell, small, pearlescent with pink veins. Said it was like me, fragile but strong. And meanwhile, it didn't fit in my head. Michael, a bigamist, leading a double life, deceiving me for 20 years, who might not even be Michael, but James. The file held other documents. A bank statement, account for James V. Thompson with a decent sum, garage lease in Hartford, utility bill for the apartment on Washington Avenue. The last dated last month. What rolled out of my husband's toolbox flipped everything. In one moment, I stopped understanding who I was and with whom I'd lived half my life. 20 years of marriage scattered like those screws on the hardwood. I pulled out my phone and dialed Michael's number. Beeps, beeps, subscriber temporarily unavailable. Of course, unavailable in the Albany area, on site, on a business trip, or in Hartford with another family. My knees trembled, nausea rose. I stood holding the armchair back and went to the window. Rain still poured, drumming on the glass. Ordinary Sunday, ordinary weather, ordinary life. Only it all turned out to be a lie. How, I whispered, pressing my palm to the cold glass. How could you? 20 years. 20 years you lied to me every day, every minute. What if I'm the second wife? What if that first one, Sarah, is the legal one? Ryan turns out the same age as our Alex, 2 sons almost the same year, growing up in different cities, unaware of each other. I sank into the armchair, clutching my husband's foreign passport. I recalled his business trips, frequent, sometimes sudden, how he always did his own laundry when returning. Don't want to burden you. You're tired enough, he'd say. Or was he afraid I'd find traces of another woman's perfume on his shirts? Recalled calls he answered in another room. The cell always clipped to his belt, never left unattended. All these little things I'd ignored for 20 years. Puzzle pieces forming a horrific picture. I returned to the toolbox, dumped the remaining contents. Another envelope with receipts for daycare in Hartford school, karate classes. A copy of a diploma for Ryan James Thompson with excellent grades in physics and math, almost like our Alex's. He's a tech whiz too, takes after his dad. And a worn leather planner. I opened it, flipped through entries. Concise, businesslike, meeting dates, amounts, names. 13.7, K delivered documents 150,000. 25.8, meeting with T Satellite Motel, payment through V. 17.9, S proposes new scheme, discuss risks. I don't understand. What business was Michael running? He's just a foreman, site manager. What documents? What schemes? At the planner's end, several phone numbers, one labeled simply S. Home. I gripped the planner until knuckles whitened. S. That's Sarah, his other wife. I straightened, mechanically gathered the tools back into the toolbox. Passport, photos, documents I stashed separately in an old candy box. Hands moved on autopilot while my head was fog, complete chaos. Need to call, find out who answers. Convince myself it's some monstrous misunderstanding. Maybe Michael kept a twin brother's documents. But he has no brother, maybe for some work scam. But the passport looks real, not fake. I dialed his number again, subscriber temporarily unavailable. Of course, I went to the buffet, pulled out a half-empty bottle of brandy, poured into a glass, downed it in one gulp, winced. The brandy burned my throat but didn't clear my thoughts. Home number, need to call that home number from the planner. Right now, before I lose resolve. I grabbed the phone, dialed the digits, froze with finger over call. What will I say? Hello. This is your husband's wife. Excuse me, are you by chance married to my husband? The call connected before I decided. 1 beep, 2, 3. On the fifth, someone picked up. "Hello." A woman's voice, melodic with a slight rasp. "Hello? Who's there?" I stayed silent, unable to speak. "Hello? Who is this?" Irritation crept in. "If you're not answering, I'm hanging up." "Hello," I forced out. I'm looking for James Victor." A long, drawn-out pause. "He's not home," the woman finally replied. "He's on a business trip." "And who's asking?" "Just an acquaintance," I mumbled. "Sorry to bother." I hung up before she could respond. "He's on a business trip. Michael on a business trip. James on a business trip. My husband on a business trip. Need to go to Hartford immediately, see for myself, with my own eyes, sort out this nightmare." I went to the closet, pulled out a travel bag, tossed in a change of underwear, makeup bag, documents. Didn't change clothes. Jeans and sweater would do for the trip. Stopped at the door, surveying the apartment. Familiar walls, known furniture, photos on the walls. Our wedding with Michael, little Alex on the potty. Michael with a fishing rod by the river. Our vacation in Mexico 3 years ago. Ordinary family life, or its illusion. I slammed the door and headed resolutely to the elevator, to the bus station, then to Hartford, to where, perhaps, hid the real life of the man I thought was my husband. The road to Hartford took almost 4 hours. The bus rattled on cracked pavement. Outside flashed dreary mid-Atlantic landscapes, grey towns, leafless birches, fields with withered grass. I sat, forehead pressed to cold glass, trying to gather thoughts. Chaos in my head. 20 years I lived with a man I apparently didn't know at all. Michael, James. Who is he really? Why lead a double life? And mainly, why choose me? Why marry a second time if already married? Questions multiplied, no answers. I twirled the worn planner, rereading strange entries, amounts, initials, some meetings. On the last page, the address in Hartford, that same Washington Avenue, House 15, Apartment 217. That's where I was headed. Next to me sat a plump woman about 60 in a knitted sweater and wool scarf. All the way she munched something, rustling bags of cookies and crackers, trying to start conversation. "What takes you to Hartford, dear?" "Visiting family, I bet," she asked, offering me garlic crackers. "Help yourself." "Thanks, no." I turned to the window, no need to pour my soul to a random fellow traveler. "I'm going to my daughter," the woman persisted. "She lives there with her husband. And grandkids. 2 already, close in age." "You excuse me, married?" "Married," I replied dryly. "Sorry, I need to think." "Ah," she drew out understandingly. "Had a fight then?" "Happens, dear, happens." My late Paul and I lived 35 years, all sorts. Argued, made up. Everything happened. Main thing is patience. A woman must endure. I stayed silent. Endure. How tired I was of that word. Everyone around preached, endure. A wife must endure. Mum said, all men are the same, but yours at least doesn't drink. Friends advised, main thing, he doesn't hit and brings money home. The rest is nonsense, and I endured. His constant trips, his silent evenings by the TV, his indifference to my problems, what else did I endure without even suspecting? The bus entered Hartford as it darkened. Fine rain drizzled, streetlights reflected in puddles as yellow spots. I got off at the central square, looked around. Never been in this city before. Asked a passerby how to get to Washington Avenue. Turned out not far. Could walk if weather didn't scare. House 15 found quickly. Typical 9-story from the 70s, peeling facade, shabby entrance. I stood under the awning, staring at the intercom, unable to make myself press apartment 217. What will I say to this woman? Sarah, mother of my husband's son, his first wife. A young couple with a stroller approached the entrance. The guy entered the code, door opened, I slipped in behind them. In the dim light of worn bulbs, the entrance walls seemed especially dreary, scuffed, marker scrawled. On the wall by the elevator, Tanya plus Ryan equals love forever. Ryan, that's Michael's son's name, or James's. Damn, I'm already confused how to call him. 7th floor, apartment 217. Ordinary metal door, upholstered in brown vinyl. Doorbell with a yellowed button from time. I raised my hand but couldn't press. Instead, I pulled the keys from my bag, those with the blue tag, hesitated a second and inserted into the lock. The key fit perfectly, turned effortlessly. Lock clicked. I pushed the door and entered the dark hallway. "Sarah," I called quietly. "Anyone home?" Silence, only water dripping from the kitchen faucet. Drip, drip, drip. I groped for the switch on the wall, clicked. A dim bulb lit under a yellow fabric shade. Ordinary apartment, small hallway cluttered with shoes. Coat rack with jackets and coats. On the nightstand, a faux leather purse, key bunch, some bills. On the wall, a mirror in a wooden frame and several framed photos. I approached. Smiling faces looked from the photos. Michael Young, with thick hair, no current bald spot or grey temples. Next to him, that same blonde Sarah and the boy in photos of various ages, from toddler on potty to teen at graduation. On the last photo, he's fully grown, in a formal suit with tie. Ballpoint inscription, Ryan, freshman year, September 2013. Their son. He'd be about 25 now, almost like our Alex. I went further, into the living room. Modest setup, couch, armchair, coffee table, TV. On walls, a vintage rug, faded floral curtains on windows. In the china cabinet, crystal glasses, formal dish set, some figurines. Ordinary apartment of an average American family. On the cabinet, more photos, lots of photos. Michael hugging Sarah by the sea, Michael with son fishing, family picnic outdoors. The three of them by the Capitol in Washington, D.C. New Year's. Tree, festive table, happy family. They looked happy in every shot. And Michael, he smiled like he never did at home with me. Wide, sincere, with a sparkle in his eyes. I sank onto the couch, feeling my knees buckle. Weakness rolled over, nausea rose. Stranger's apartment, stranger's life, stranger's husband. On the coffee table, some papers. I mechanically flipped through, utility bill, old Time magazine, lottery ticket, and an envelope signed in familiar handwriting. To Sarah dear, Michael's handwriting. I shouldn't read others' letters, but couldn't stop. Inside the envelope, a folded sheet. Sarah dear, my sunshine. Forgive me for leaving so suddenly again. Urgent order. Can't refuse. Will be away about 2 weeks. Left money in our hideaway. I'll call Ryan myself, tell him Dad loves him and is proud. And I love you more than life, you know that. We'll return. We'll definitely go to the cabin. Apples are probably ripe there by now. Kisses. You're Jamie. 2 weeks, the same time frame he told me leaving for the trip. Money in hideaway, apples at the cabin. Love more than life. When did he last say such words to me? Don't remember. Probably never. My pocket buzzed with the phone. I startled, dropping the letter. Screen lit. Michael. Heart pounded wildly. I stared at the phone, unsure what to do. Answer? What will I say? Not answer. He might suspect something. Hello. My voice sounded hoarse. Hi, dear. Michael's voice was brisk but tired. How are you? Everything okay? Yes, I forced out. All normal. I just checked into the hotel, he continued. Spent all day on site, barely made it to bed. Tomorrow all-day meeting, so might call late. Don't worry, okay? Of course, I tried to speak evenly. Won't worry, you sound strange. Suspicion in his voice. Everything really okay? Yes, just tired. Did some rearranging. Rearranging? He sounded surprised. What kind? Moved the bookshelf. I bit my lip to not sob. Moved your toolbox. Pause. Long, drawn out. And the toolbox, he finally said. How'd you manage? Yes. I swallowed the lump. Managed. It was heavy. Had to unload. Another pause. Okay, his voice tensed. I'll call tomorrow. Rest good, I whispered. Good night. He hung up. I sat staring at the dark screen. He realized. From my voice, from mentioning the toolbox, realized I found something. What next? He'll come, run, invent another lie. The front door lock clicked. I jumped, looking for an exit. Too late. Footsteps in the hallway, thud of boots off, rustle of bags. Ryan, is that you? Woman's voice, that raspy one. You're early today. She entered the room, saw me, froze. Bags dropped, oranges rolled across the floor. Who are you? Her voice trembled. How did you get in? Sarah turned out not at all like I'd imagined from photos. Older, fuller, with short dyed chestnut hair instead of long blonde locks. Traces of former beauty still showed in regular features. But years and fatigue took their toll, though I probably looked no better. "My name is Emily," I said, surprised how calm my voice sounded. "Emily Carter, wife of Michael Robert Davis. Or maybe James Victor Thompson. I'm already confused, honestly." She paled, grabbed the armchair back. "What nonsense are you talking?" she whispered. "What Michael?" "Your husband's." I pulled the passport from my bag, handed it. "This is your husband, James Victor, right?" She took the passport with shaking hands, opened, stared at the photo, then slowly raised eyes to me. "Where did you get this?" "From your husband's toolbox." "My husband? I don't know whose husband he really is." She sank into the armchair, still clutching the passport. 26 years, she whispered. 26 years married to James. We have a son, Ryan. He's 25. And I've been married to Michael for 20 years, I replied. We have a son too, Alex. He's 19. We looked at each other silently. Two women deceived by one man, two lives shattered in one day. "Sit down," she finally said, pointing to the couch. "I think we have a lot to talk about." I sat, not taking eyes off her. What now? Scandal, tears, mutual accusations. "Want some coffee?" Sarah asked unexpectedly. "I have brandy." "Think we both could use it." I nodded, surprised by her calm. She stood, went to the kitchen. Dishes clinked, kettle bubbled. Minutes later she returned with a tray, 2 mugs, sugar bowl, French press, and half bottle of American whiskey. "Jack Daniels, 3 years old," she said, pouring into mugs. "James always buys this kind, says expensive stuff is for special occasions." Did I catch irony in her voice? "Michael likes Jack Daniels too." I took the mug. "But 5 years old." We drank silently. Whiskey burned the throat, spread warmth through the body. Felt a bit better. "How did you find out?" Sarah asked, pouring more. I told about the toolbox, rearranging, discovery. She listened attentively, not interrupting, only lips sometimes twisted, fingers gripped the mug till knuckles whitened. "And you?" I asked, finishing. "You never suspected anything?" "Suspected?" She smiled wryly. "Of course. His constant absences, trips, always short on money, though earns decently. Calls he answers in another room. Once found a receipt from a store in your city in his jacket. Asked. Brushed off. Said stopped by on business, but until today I couldn't imagine." She fell silent, staring out the window. Rain drummed on glass, blurring passing car lights. "What do we do?" I asked, feeling the initial shock fade, fatigue roll in. "Don't know," she shook her head. "Really don't." "Do you have a place to stay?" I blinked confusedly. Hadn't thought about lodging. "Actually, no." "Stay here." She stood, gathering dishes. "Ryan's at friends tonight. His room's free." "And tomorrow?" "Tomorrow we'll decide what next." I looked at her, disbelieving. "Stay in my rival's house. Sleep in the room of the son of the man who deceived us both for 20 years. "You know what?" Sarah suddenly said, a strange glint in her eyes. "Let's call our husband. Wonder what he'll say." "He won't answer." I shook my head. "I already called. He seems to guess I found something." "Give me your phone." She extended her hand. "He'll answer all right." I handed her the cell. She quickly dialed, put on speaker. "Hello?" Michael's voice sounded anxious. "Emily, what happened?" "Hello, dear," Sarah said calmly. "This isn't Emily. This is Sarah, your wife from Hartford. And next to me is your wife from—" "Where are you from, Emily?" "From Buffalo," I whispered. "From Buffalo," Sarah repeated. "And you know what? Seems we need explanations, very detailed ones. Silence on the line so thick you could hear heartbeats." Sarah looked at the phone with odd satisfaction, and I couldn't tear eyes from her face, calm, almost serene, like she'd waited for this moment long and now savored every second. "Sarah," Michael's voice raspy, broken, "what joke? Where'd you get this number?" "Emily gave it to me," Sarah replied calmly. "Your second wife. We met here. Imagine, sitting, having coffee. Actually whiskey, your favorite Jack Daniels." More silence, then deep sigh. Girls, I'll explain everything, he finally said. It's not what you think. And what do we think, Michael? I didn't recognize my voice, quiet with a metallic note. Enlighten us. What exactly? Emily, pleading notes in his voice. Let's talk alone. I'll come now, tell everything. I can explain. No need to go anywhere, Sarah interjected. Better say where you really are. In Buffalo? Hartford? Or somewhere else? At a third wife's, maybe? What nonsense. He tried to laugh unconvincingly. I'm on a trip in the Albany area, on site at 2 a.m. Sarah glanced at the clock. Workaholic, huh? I'm at the hotel, he snapped. Listen, this is some misunderstanding. Emily, how'd you end up in Hartford? What's going on? I found your passport, I replied, in the name James Thompson, and photos and documents for a son. And address, decided to check. Checked? Bitterness in his voice. Satisfied? No, I felt tears rising. Not satisfied. 20 years, Michael. 20 years you lied every day, every minute. 26, Sarah corrected. He lied to me 26 years. By the way, my maiden name isn't whatever, it's Anderson. And he met Ryan when the boy was 3. So not all documents are real, right, dear? I looked at her surprised. What tricks? Sarah, stop. Panic in Michael's voice. No need for all this. I'll come now, we'll discuss calmly. Come, she shrugged. We're in no hurry. Right, Emily? I nodded, unable to force a word. Fog in my head. What fake documents? What odd hints? I ... He faltered. Need a couple hours. I'm not in the city. Of course, Sarah smirked. Waiting. She hung up and looked at me. He won't come today, she said, but tomorrow for sure, to explain everything. By the way, notice how he dodges direct questions and avoids names until sure who's listening. I hadn't noticed, but now she said, I recalled he indeed avoided addresses. Why lie about documents? I asked. To see his reaction, she rose, gathering mugs. And note, he didn't surprise, didn't ask back, didn't outrage. Means there really are fake documents. Come, I'll show your room. You need rest. The son's room was small but cozy, bookshelves to ceiling, computer desk, narrow bed with checkered blanket. On walls, posters of football players and rock bands, school awards, pennants. Ordinary room of an ordinary young man. Ryan's rarely home now, Sarah said, pulling clean bedding from closet. He's in grad school in DC, doing some space tech stuff. Smart kid, all his dad. My Alex is a techie too, slipped out, studying programming in Boston. They say dad's copy. We fell silent, looking at each other. 2 mothers of one father's sons. 2 sons never seeing each other. Half-brothers living in different cities, unaware of one another. They could have had a normal childhood, I whispered. They could grow up together as brothers. Could have, Sarah agreed, but James or Michael decided otherwise. She made the bed, pulled towels from closet. Bathroom there, she pointed to corridor door. Make yourself at home. Morning we'll decide next. Thanks, I shifted awkwardly in doorway. Listen, you not angry at me at all? What? At you, she raised brows surprised. For what? Well, I kind of ruined your family. You didn't ruin, she shook head. He did. And not today, 26 years ago, when he chose double life. Good night, Emily. She left, quietly closing door. I sank on bed, surveying room. On desk, framed photo, Sarah, Michael and teen boy smiling, embraced. Happy family. And in another city, another apartment, stood similar photo. Me, Michael and Alex. Same smiles, same hugs, same lie. I couldn't sleep that night. Tossed, staring into darkness, sifting memories. When did I meet Michael? In 1994, at a mutual friend's birthday. He introduced as engineer, builder, modest specialist with small salary. Courted beautifully, flowers, poems, long walks. Proposed after half-year. Wedding modest, just for close ones. No money. Tough times. Then it spun. Work, routine. Alex's birth. Michael worked lots, often away, said saving for apartment, car, bright future. And I believed, like last fool, believed. Phone on nightstand buzzed. Message from Michael. Emily, I love you. You're my real wife. The rest, circumstances. Give me chance to explain, please. No way. Now too late for explanations. 20 years late. I turned off phone, turned to wall. Tears came, but I held back. Enough, cried already. Time to think what next. Morning greeted with coffee smell and radio sounds from kitchen. I rose, washed, tidied as possible without spare clothes and makeup. Mirror reflected haggard face with dark circles. Nose red, eyelids swollen, still cried at night despite resolve. In kitchen, Sarah fried eggs. On table, 2 steaming coffee mugs, sliced bread plate, butter, cheese. Good morning, she said without turning. Sit, breakfast almost ready. I awkwardly perched on stool, cupped hot mug. Weird situation, breakfasting in my husband's wife's kitchen, or am I his wife's wife? Totally confused. How'd you sleep? Sarah set eggs plate before me, sat opposite. Not at all, I honestly replied. Thought all night. And what did you come up with? She sipped coffee, looking over mug. Don't know. I shook head spinning, so many questions. How'd he live 2 homes all this time? Where really worked? Where money from? And Maine, why? Why 2 families, 2 homes, 2 names? 3, Sarah calmly corrected. What? 3 names. She rose, pulled folder from kitchen cabinet, handed me. Look. Folder held photocopies of passports, birth certificates, some contracts. I flipped puzzled. Don't understand. Here, Sarah pointed at sheet. Lease for apartment in Providence on name Peter Nicholas Young. And bank extract on same name. And another passport. See photo? That's James, but with mustache and glasses. I stared at photo, indeed Michael with mustache, glasses, different hair but recognizable. And name Peter Nicholas Young. Fake? I mumbled, flipping further. Think so, Sarah nodded, but high quality. I found these papers 3 years ago by chance. He was fixing shelf in closet, left jacket. I decided to hang it. In pocket found envelope with these copies. And you said nothing to him? No, she shrugged, made copies for myself, returned originals to pocket. Wanted to observe, understand what's happening. And what's happening? I set folder aside, head spinning. Don't know exactly, but Ryan once let slip Dad works in agencies, does secret assignments. For cover, needs legend family, ordinary job. What nonsense, I shook head. What agencies, what secret assignments? Michael's a foreman on construction. And James, project engineer at building firm, Sarah smirked. Only pays him clearly more than ordinary engineer. And these constant travels. Anyway, long suspected something off. Well, thought mistress, some side deals turned out, second family and possibly third. We fell silent, looking at each other, eggs cooled on plates, untouched. What do we do? I finally asked. Wait. She rose, gathering dishes. He'll come, no choice. Meanwhile, want to show you something else? She left kitchen, returned with small dark wood box. Here, found this morning while you slept. She opened box. Look, inside papers, photos, flash drive, small notebook. What is this? Don't know exactly. James keeps this box in hideaway behind bathroom tile. Found by chance during remodel couple years ago. Peaked sometimes, but contents change. This, she pulled notebook, appeared recently. I took notebook, flipped. Handwritten notes, numbers, some diagrams. Michael's handwriting, but smaller, neater than usual. Looks like accounting, I mumbled. Or look, here code names. Hawk, owl, falcon. And amounts. Large. And this, Sarah pulled thick envelope from box, most interesting. Envelope held photos. Michael hugging serious men in expensive suits. Michael driving luxury car. Michael at fancy restaurant entrance. Michael in office overlooking river, not like modest foreman's life. Right? Sarah smirked. Or engineers. What does it all mean? Back chilled. Who is he really? Don't know, she shook head, but planned to find out today. Doorbell rang. We both startled, glanced at each other. Sarah had no guests and no one could come to me in Hartford. Him again? I whispered. Sarah quickly gathered papers back into box, hid in cabinet. It's him, she whispered. Don't reveal we searched. Let him think we just found his double life. Nothing more. I nodded, heart pounding wildly. Sarah went to open. I heard lock click. Footsteps, quiet talk in hallway, then he entered kitchen. Michael looked awful. Unshaven, red eyes, rumpled clothes, huge rose bouquet in hands, barely fitting doorway. Emily, he stepped to me, but I backed, hand out. No need, I said, just explain what's happening. He lowered bouquet, looked around for place. Sarah silently took flowers, tossed in trash bin. Hey, he protested, those roses cost $500. Stick them where you know, she replied calmly. Sit and tell who you really are. Michael, James, Peter. He flinched at last name, glanced quickly at her, then me. What did she tell you? He asked me. Don't believe her. She's always been a fantasist. Enough, I'm tired of games. Just tell truth. Once in life, tell truth. Who are you? He heavily sank on stool, ran hand over face. Want truth? His voice dull. Fine, I'll tell, but you won't like. My real name, James Victor Thompson, he began, staring between us. Born in Hartford, finished construction trade school, then institute in D.C. In 1993, met Sarah, year later married. He glanced briefly at Sarah. She sat impassive, arms crossed. In 95, Ryan born. Worked in design bureau, money short, then offered side gig, unofficial. What side gig? I couldn't hold. Those times, 90s, many hustled as could. He spread hands. Remember those years? Food stamps, delayed pay, empty shelves, and here good money for simple work. Travel cities, deliver documents, pass packages. Courier, basically. I agreed. Courier for crooks? Sarah clarified, icy. Not crooks, he winced. Businessmen, serious people. Yes, not always clean hands. But who was clean then? Country falling apart, everyone survived as could. And why second family? I leaned forward. Courier doesn't need second passport and wife. At first, just passport, he sighed, in name Michael Davis. Made for me for city travels, renting apartments, cars. Then met you, Emily. He looked almost pleading, like lightning strike, fell in love instantly for real. Wanted just fling but couldn't. You were so bright, sincere, unlike anyone I knew. You were married? My voice shook. Had son? Yes. He lowered head, but family life with Sarah already cracking. We argued often. She didn't understand me, my ambitions, always demanded attention, money. And I wanted more, not just survive, live decently. Ah, you, Sarah paled, fingers clenched fists. So I'm to blame. I didn't understand your ambitions. And me alone with child while you traveled on business, that's normal. I'm not saying you're to blame. He wearily rubbed bridge nose. Just circumstances. Met Emily, couldn't give her up. Decided could live two homes, temporarily till sort affairs, get on feet. But this temporary stretched 20 years. I shook head. 20 years you lied, pretended, played loving husband. Didn't play. He raised eyes to me. Loved you and still do. For real. And me? Sarah asked quietly. He silent, and that silence more eloquent than words. So that's how she slumped, like aged instantly. 26 years together, and you loved another all this time. I loved you both, he muttered, just differently. Lie, Sarah smirked bitterly. As always. And third identity? With this Peter? Also love. Michael flinched, glanced quickly at her. Where from? No matter. She waved hand. Matter what you say now. He sighed, shoulders dropped. Over time affairs got serious. No longer just courier tasks. Needed meet people, close deals, transfer large sums. Too dangerous use passport you live by. So third appeared. Peter Young. What affairs? I clenched hands to stop tremble. What deals you closed? Various. He looked away. Better you not know details. No way. I slapped palm on table. Tell all to end now. He paused, then nodded. Started ordinary black books, cashing for firms, tax evasion, then registering docs on strawmen, asset resales, hostile takeovers. Early 2000s, many banks and businesses changed owners, not always legal. You're criminal, I whispered. Legally, yes. He shrugged. But never killed, maimed anyone. Just worked docs, numbers. Were legit deals too. Construction, real estate buy-sell. That's how made main capital. And how much capital? Sarah leaned forward. Enough, he evaded, for comfortable life for you both. And kids. Blood money, I muttered. All these years lived on money from illegal means, not blood. He winced, said no violence dealings, just skirted laws like everyone those years. But you didn't stop those years, Sarah noted. Continued, all these trips, night calls, urgent departures. Still in that business? He hesitated, nodded. Yes, but now different. More legal. I have shares in several. Construction companies, couple malls. Consult on complex deals, help structure business. All within law. Almost. And all this time lied to us. Nausea rose. Posed as ordinary worker, complained low pay, bosses. But were what? Shadow businessman? Underground millionaire? Didn't want endanger you. He spread hands. If knew truth, could harm you and me. Safer in ignorance. How noble, Sarah snorted. And betraying us both nothing, making live in lie, robbing our kids' chance have real dad, not weekend pop. I tried be good father, offense in his voice and for Ryan and Alex. Helped homework, drove to activities, paid education. How generous. I couldn't hold. Allow ask, and third family you sure know. Maybe in Providence another wife and son. Or daughter. He flushed, opened mouth but no answer. My God, Sarah whispered, seeing reaction. Really is, right? Third family. No, he shook head. Not family. Just was woman. In Providence. Dated few years, but never promised marriage. She knew married, came only on business. And kids? I asked dully. No, he stared floor. No kids. Always careful, except those 2 times conceived our sons, Sarah clarified with venomous smile. He silent, studying floor tile. And how many more women? I rose, unable sit near. Besides us 2 and that Providence one. Don't know. He shrugged. Several, on trips, travels. Nothing serious for you, and we seems nothing serious. Sarah rose too. Since could play our lives, lie, betray, use. Didn't use. He raised head. Cared for you, provided, loved. Loved? I disbelieved. That's not love, I don't even know what call it. Some perversion. Listen, he suddenly spoke business tone. Understand your anger, right to it. But look, situation soberly. I have money, property, business. Can provide you both till end. Separate apartments, allowance, education for kids. Won't have work if don't want. You offering us what? Sarah narrowed eyes. Buy off. Pay for 26 years lie. Offering reasonable solution. He crossed arms. You get financial stability. I, chance see kids, win-win. And fact you're criminal. I shook head. Your money dirty, from fraud, fake docs, tax evasion, all your shady deals. Statute limitations, he shrugged, passed on most episodes, plus no complaints, no proof. Who cares now about 90s? I care, cold rage grew inside. I don't need your dirty money. And see Alex no more. I'll tell him whole truth. Emily, his voice hardened, don't be stupid. Think of son, yourself. Really want work accountant for peanuts rest life. Live in rental, give up travel, comfort. Always worked, I parried, and will manage. And you? You disgust me. And you, Sarah, he turned to her, refused too. Apartment in downtown Chicago, bank account, comfortable old age? She's silent, studying him with odd expression. Know what's scariest, she finally said. I don't know you at all. 26 years together, and you're stranger with strange name, strange life, strange face even. I'm same. He tried smile. Same James who loved you in youth. Remember our first Christmas together? Sat on windowsill, drank champagne from one glass, made wish. Stop. She winced. Don't dare speculate on memories. All was lie, not all. He shook head. I really loved you then, and Ryan love, and you, Emily, and Alex. You can't love. I turned away. Love incompatible with lie, betrayal. He rose, paced kitchen, stopped at window. You don't understand, he said dully. All life dreamed breakout poverty, greyness. My dad alcoholic, mum slaved 3 jobs feed us. I swore never live like that, achieve more any cost. And what cost achieved? Sarah asked. Cost others' lives, our lives. You deprived us choice, understand? We thought lived our life, but really played roles in your play. Puppets in your theatre. Didn't want it this way. He suddenly stooped like an old man. Started small, side job, shady docks, then snowballed. Money, connections, opportunities. When came to senses, too late change. Too much at stake, too dangerous exit game. And now dangerous? I asked quietly. Now number. He turned to us. Last year's exited shadows, legalized capitals, registered business on straws. But all clean, legally impeccable. Planned this year, tell you truth. At least part. Move you both to Chicago, buy apartments nearby, so our sons finally meet. We could live almost like normal family. Almost, Sarah smirked bitterly. Key word, almost like normal family, only with 2 wives and double life. Couldn't choose. He spread hands. Couldn't give up either you, our kids. Should have, I cut, 20 years ago. Or not marry me knowing married, or divorce Sarah if loved another. But not lie, not betray. We fell silent. Wall clock ticked, steadily, indifferently. Sunray pierced curtain, highlighting dancing dust motes. Ordinary morning, ordinary kitchen. Only life. Turned upside down. I still offer financial help, he finally said. Regardless what decide, and grateful if not air dirty laundry. I have business, reputation. Reputation? Sarah laughed. What even? You know reputation, no real name even. You know what mean. He winced. I'll help you, but you don't harm me. Fair? Fair would turn you to police, I said, for fraud, fake docs, tax evasion, all your dark dealings. Try, he shrugged. But note, I have connections in police, DA, IRS. Statement won't accept. Or if do, bury case, you'll just waste time. What scum, Sarah whispered, and I lived with you so many years, slept same bed, bore child. Never wished you harm. His voice almost pleading, cared for you, provided, protected my way, loved. Get out. I couldn't see his face more. Just leave and never return to me or Alex. 01085 to 020 400.684 speaker 0. Emily go, I broke into shout, get out my life, our lives. He stood second more, nodded, turned, left kitchen, front door slammed. Sarah and I left sitting in kitchen, looking at each other. 2 women whose lives just collapsed. What now? I asked. Don't know, she shook head, but think we should stick together at least for time. I nodded, strangely felt relief, like heavy burden lifted. 20 years lie behind. Ahead uncertainty, but somehow not scary. Maine. No more lie, no secrets, no masks. Maybe that's real freedom. Next days passed in fog. I stayed at Sarah's, no strength return empty apartment where everything reminded 20 years lie. We talked lots, drank coffee in kitchen deep night, sifting memories, matching dates, events, inconsistencies in husband's stories. Remember that Christmas he supposedly stuck on trip-due snowstorm? Sarah asked, pouring strong coffee. 2007, I think. Of course, I nodded. Alex so upset then, waited Dad with gifts. And he was here, with us. She smirked, with champagne, cake, gifts for Ryan, said barely escaped work. Bittersweet irony. Sit in kitchen with woman 20 years unwitting rival, discover deceived identically. Same excuses, same stories, even gifts similar. Sarah showed gold sapphire earrings, gifted on 20th anniversary. Exactly like mine, on 15th. Know what's most hurtful? Sarah said, gazing at drizzling rain window. Not double life, not even lie, but he stole our choice chance. We could live these years differently, with other men loving only us. Or alone, but honestly, no illusions. And we lived invented world, his sets. I understood her like no one. Stolen years, stolen life, role in another's play we performed unaware. On third day, our odd cohabitation, Alex called from Boston. Mom, where you disappear? Worry in voice. Called you second day, no answer. Sorry, son, I tried calm. I'm on short trip. All good. Trip? Alone, he surprised. And Dad where? I hesitated. What say? How explain 19-year-old his dad, not who pretended? Dad has business, I forced. Listen, Alex, we need talk. Seriously, but not phone. I'll come weekend, okay? Something happened. His voice tensed. You fought with Dad? Not quite, I sighed. Just important circumstances appeared. I'll explain in person. Okay, he paused. Waiting Saturday. Warn when arrive. I'll meet. Station. I hung up, looked at Sarah. She handed fresh coffee mug. Called son? She asked. Yes, I sipped. Need go Boston, tell him all. Don't know how he'll take such news. Hard. Sarah shook head. Ryan still doesn't know. He's at some science conference in DC, back week. Can't imagine how tell him his dad's bigamist and fraud, and if, I paused, if not tell, at least yet. What mean? Let them keep normal relations. I shrugged. Why destroy Dad's image in son's eyes? They innocent, Sarah pondered, tapping nail on mug. Don't know, finally said. One hand, don't want hurt Ryan, other, is right, continue lie. We know truth now, kids don't. Means we deceive them too. I had no answer. She right anyway. And more, Sarah continued, practical point. If divorcing James, and think you not plan, keep this farce he called marriage. How explain divorce to kids without true reasons? Can say fell out love, I suggested, relations exhausted. Common. After 26 years, she raised brow skeptically. Not convincing, plus Ryan no fool. He'll sense something off. We silent again, each option bad own way. Doorbell rang, we glanced. Sarah expected no guests, and to me in Hartford no one could come. Him again? I whispered. Sarah rose, approached door, peered peephole. Delivery, she said, relieved. Hold on, she opened. Young guy in uniform jacket, handed tablet for sign and large dense paper envelope. To Sarah Miller personally, he said, sign please. She signed, took envelope, closed door, returned kitchen thoughtful. From him, she said, placing envelope on table, feel it. Don't open, I winced. Toss right away, surely teary apologies or manipulation attempts. No, she shook head, need look. Maybe important. She neatly opened envelope, inside folder with documents, a note in familiar handwriting. Sarah, Emily. Understand your anger, not ask forgiveness. Too presumptuous. I did unforgivable, ready accept consequences. But ask one, let me secure your future. Folder has property docs, 1 apartment each in your names, bank cards with decent amount, and docs for deposits in reliable banks. Enough live comfortably long years. Accept not as buy-off, but small compensation for years' deception. Can't give more, though you deserve much. I'm leaving country indefinite. Contact through lawyer. His details in folder too. If want, call. If not, understand. Forgive everything. James Michael. Sarah silently passed note, herself scanned docs. 1 bedroom downtown Chicago, she said, browsing papers. In my name. Deposit $5 million. Platinum credit card no limit seems. I took docs meant me. 2 bedroom near Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, near Institute where Alex studies. Coincidence? Unlikely. Deposit same as Sarah's, credit card. He thinks can buy forgiveness. I tossed papers. Buy off? After all he did. Don't think hopes forgiveness. Sarah neatly gathered documents back folder. Just wants provide his way. Care, don't need his care. Tears boiled. Buy off. No, Sarah said, unexpectedly calm. Money not dirty or clean, just are or aren't. And we, Emily, need them now, especially if decide start clean slate. I looked surprised. This woman deceived 26 years, kept amazing composure. You really think take his money after all learned? Why not? She shrugged. He owes us much more than apartments and deposits. He stole our life, Emily. Stole chance live differently. This money, pitiful compensation. Her words had logic, but something inside resisted touching what that man gave. No, Sarah continued, thought what you said. About kids. Maybe right. Maybe not worth shatter Dad's image their eyes. Tell partial truth, your husband had secret life, business we didn't know, forced leave country, avoid law problems. But about double family, maybe silent. At least yet. And if learn? From someone else? From who? She smirked. He left, we only ones know truth. And our sons live different cities, unlikely cross. I pondered. Maybe right. Why traumatize kids? Their dad relations, theirs. Why suffer his lie? Okay, I finally said, let's do that. Tell about secret business, law problems, but not family stuff. Deal. Sarah extended hand across table. And one more. Want you take money and apartment not for self, for Alex. He still study, build career. Let some benefit from his dad. I hesitated, then shook hand. Only for Alex, agreed. And you? And I'll open own business, she suddenly smiled. Always dreamed small boutique. So, create beauty, 26 years shelved dream, no money, no time. Enough shelving. Her enthusiasm contagious. I caught myself thinking I could do something new too. All life worked accountant small firm, shuffled others' numbers. But once wanted travel, write, photograph. No, I said, this really chance start clean slate. No lie, no pretense. Be self. Exactly, Sarah nodded. They say find positive in any situation, even such. She trailed, but I understood. Even in 20-year marriage crash, betrayal, shattered illusions can find hope seed, new beginning chance. Saturday I left for Boston talk son. Sarah stayed wait Ryan's return. We agreed call after tough talks kids. Alex met at station, tall, thin, so like dad young, hugged tight, helped bag. I looked him, thought how say, explain his dad, not who pretended, has half-brother, whole family history lie. You pale, Mum, Alex noted when sat cafe near station. Something happen? Not sick? No, son, deep breath. But need tell important about dad. Alex's face serious, set coffee cup, looked attentively. Something with dad? He okay physically? Yes, I gathered strength. But our marriage, we're separating, Alex, serious reasons. I spoke long about dad's secret business, law problems, sudden country leave, 20 years lived with man apparently didn't know. Alex listened silent, only jaw muscles twitched, like Michael's when angry. So he lied all time, finally asked. About foreman work, salary, everything. Yes. I nodded. He led double life, had business, not always legal, property, some deals, don't know all details. And now, where he go? Don't know. Truth, left letter leaving country, and provided us. Bought apartment here, Boston, near your university, left money. Alex paused, tapping fingers table. No, finally said, always felt something off with dad. Those sudden leaves, weird night calls, secrecy, but thought maybe just character. Not angry, I asked cautiously. Angry, sure, he smirked wryly. But not at you. At him for lying, for endangering you with crime ties, for not honest. I looked son thought, he's so adult. When happened? While I lived illusions, he grew, learned understand people, analyze actions. Know what, Mum? Suddenly said Alex, covering my hand, maybe for best. You deserve more than life with dishonest man, now free, can start over. I smiled through tears. My boy, my smart boy. Right, free, first time 20 years truly free. Evening, in hotel room, called Sarah, she talked son too. Ryan took hard, she said, especially criminal business. Always proud dad, thought honest worker. But think time accept, smart boy, understand. And you how? I asked. Strangely she paused. No, suddenly realized not unhappy, like dropped heavy backpack carried years. Yes, hurts, yes, offensive, but same time freedom. Can live as want, no adjusting, no waiting, no hoping. I understood. Amazingly, husband's awful betrayal gave us both what never dreamed, new life, chance start clean. Listen, idea, Sarah suddenly said, what if we be real friends? Went through so much together, understood so much each other these days. Friends, I surprised. Normal our situation? What normal our life? She laughed. To hell normality. Let's live as think right. No looking others' opinions. I caught smiling, first many days sincerely from heart. Let's, agreed. To hell normality. Strangely, life shattered by toolbox started piecing anew, differently, no lie, no masks. And maybe even better. 6 months later, early spring morning, stood window new Boston apartment. Gazing awakening Commonwealth Avenue, sun-gilded Boston common domes. First passers hurried affairs. At nearby stop, bus passengers disembarked. Ordinary morning, ordinary life. My new life. 6 months since Toolbox flipped everything. 6 months changed me unrecognizably. Outwardly same, except short haircut, bought new clothes, tossed shapeless ones wore 20 years. But inside, all different. Moved Boston, closer Alex. He often dropped evenings. We cooked dinner, talked. Turned out my son almost glad our split Michael. You long not happy together, Mum, said once, helping hang bookshelves. Noticed school. You like polite neighbors, not husband-wife. Strange how kids see what we miss. For me, our cold marriage long norm, habitual, convenient. Didn't think could live otherwise. From Michael or James, still don't know right name, no news. Only money steadily monthly more than ever earned. First didn't want spend, then accepted. Really, why not? Owed me much more than money. Owed 20 years life. Emily, you there? Sarah's voice excited phone. Not forget I arrived today. Meet? Course remember. Smiled. Train 2:15 South Station, wait main entrance. Great, missed so. Much tell, Sarah and I kept constant contact months. Daily calls, video chats, endless messages. Who think woman once unwitting rival become closest friend? But happened, understood each other like no one, shared betrayal experience, shared pain, shared history. Sarah moved Chicago, opened small boutique one old downtown mansions. Business unexpectedly good. Clients appreciated taste, skill. Ryan stayed Chicago after grad, got job research institute. We never talked possibility introduce sons. Tacitly decided their business, no or not each other. I not idle either. Unexpectedly started writing. First just life notes, then short stories. Took photography courses, dreamed youth. On nearby Travelers Forum, met small magazine editor, showed works. Interested, offered collaboration. Became freelance travel notes, photo reports author. Money small, but not point. Maine, finally doing loved. Doorbell rang, probably neighbor. We sometimes morning coffee together. Another novelty my life. Started socialize. Was reclusive, avoided new acquaintances. Now opposite, drawn live interaction. Opening door, froze, threshold delivery with huge white lilies bouquet. Emily Carter asked. Delivery you? Sign, please. I signed tablet, took bouquet small attached envelope, returned apartment, placed flowers table. Lilies. Where? Who knows favorites? Envelope held card no signature, but handwriting recognized instantly. Today 21 years our first meeting. No unforgivably ruined your life, but grateful fate every day with you. You and Alex best my life. I stared card, unsure feel. Anger, offense, nostalgia? None. Only weary puzzlement. Who this person? Why continue haunt? Why remind himself? Phone rang. Sarah. Hi, I said, tossing card. Something happen? You got two? Without preamble, flowers? Yes, just now. And card? Her voice trembled. That too. I sighed. 21 years our first meeting. Yes, mine different text. She paused. 27 years our first meeting. You and Ryan best my life. Such date precision. I smirked wryly. At least check calendar. He didn't forget, Sarah said quietly. Neither you nor me. Let forget, I cut. Don't need his flowers, declarations, nor him. Not curious where what him? I pondered. Curious. 6 months ago, yes. Wanted look eyes, vent all boiled. Now don't know. Pain subsided, rage ebbed, only fatigue left. No, finally replied. All equal he closed chapter, past, and for me? She faltered. No, thought all burned out. But these flowers. Silly, right? Not silly, I said softly. 26 years together, not erase life. but not mean return who betrayed. No, she sighed, just sometimes rolls melancholy, what could be but didn't. Normal family, honest relations. You still can have, I said, beautiful, smart, talented, meet normal man, no double bottom. At 53, she laughed. Come on, Emily, who needs me age? Nonsense, I smiled. Look, max 40, and anyway, now different time. People fall, love 70. Well, yes, nursing home early me. She laughed again. Okay, all lyric. Really coming today. Not forget? Course not. I approached window, gazing sunny street, waiting eagerly. Much discuss. What, example? Example offered go California write article coastal trails. 2 weeks all paid. Travel, stay, even guide. Emily, her voice delight, wonderful. When? Next month, I smiled. Imagine me never left beyond neighboring state, fly another region. Alone. You're great. Her voice sincere pride. Always knew strong, just didn't guess. We said bye till meet. I returned window. Strange feeling, like woke long sleep. 20 years lived imposed life, now just starting understand really want. Table tea cooled, nearby lilies and card from past person. I took flowers, carried kitchen, tossed trash bin, tore card small pieces. Enough, my life mine only. Starts here now. Sarah arrived schedule, met station, hugged like kin. You lost weight, she exclaimed, stepping back surveying, new haircut suits. And you bloomed, I smiled. Glowing, truth. Sarah looked rejuvenated, energetic. New haircut, stylish coat, confident gait. No trace lost woman met 6 months ago Hartford. Took taxi home. Insisted she stay my apartment, not hotel. On way talked non-stop her boutique, my articles, kids, future plans. No, she suddenly said nearing house. Ryan started dating girl seriously seems. Says introduce summer. Wonderful, I rejoiced sincerely, and Alex no steady. Student romances, nothing serious, says career first, then personal. All dad, she said, cut short. Sorry, didn't think. Nothing, I shrugged. Truth. Very like dad, driven, stubborn, but hope unlike old man, be honest person. We silent, shadow Michael or James still between, no matter ignore. In apartment Sarah gasped, seeing wall photos, still amateur but getting good reviews specialized forums. Born photographer, admired, examining foggy Boston shots, harbor, old mansions. Such eye atmosphere. Exaggerate, I brushed, but like. First life doing brings joy. Evening sat kitchen, drank wine, talked life. Sarah told got off a large fashion house shows. Imagine. Flushed excitement. Me, self-taught Hartford, invited work real designers, like dream. Always knew talented, I poured wine, saw first glance. No, she suddenly serious, sometimes think maybe all best. This story with James, Michael, whoever. Without it, I'd sit Hartford dreaming impossible, not dare changes. I nodded, understanding, same thought often me. Turns out strange, I said. Person did us so much evil indirectly brought good. Forced wake, start live. Life strange thing, Sarah philosophized. Never know what's really best, what's worst. We silent, each own thoughts. By way, I suddenly said, another news. Decided file divorce. Officially settle all. Serious? She raised brows surprised. But how? He's away, abroad. In US can divorce unilaterally if spouse missing, explained. And he effectively missing. No address, no contacts. Should work. Why? She looked curious. Meaning? Difference officially married or not? Not planning remarry. I laughed. No course. Just want close question, put period. Officially. She nodded, understanding. Not ready yet, admitted. Can't explain why, but seems early put period. Something else should happen. What? I surprised. Waiting him return? Don't know, shrugged. Maybe. Or just need time. 26 years no joke. Not easy cross out. I didn't argue. Each own path, acceptance, forgiveness, own timeline. Let's drink, suggested, raising glass. To us we endured, became stronger. To us, she echoed, and toolbox, without which we wouldn't meet. We laughed, clinked. Strange fate, strange friendship, born betrayal pain. But real. Probably main lesson whole story, life unpredictable. What seems catastrophe can become new beautiful beginning. Main find strength go forward, not look back, not cling past. Just live here now truly. 2 years later, September sun flooded terrace small cafe Lake Michigan shore. I sat table, sipping cappuccino browsing morning photos. Third day International Photography Festival invited participant. Who think hobby started despair lead here, Michigan. Prestigious prose forum. Life full surprises, sometimes scary, sometimes delightful. Phone buzzed. Message Sarah. Photo evening gown beaded, caption for Milan show. How? I smiled, gazing exquisite friend creation. Her designer career soared unseen heights 2 years. Invites fashion houses, own clothing line, glossy mag interviews. At 55, rising fashion star. Stunning, outdid self replied, sending Lake photo back. Our friendship Sarah only strengthened time, often met Chicago or Boston, vacationed together beach, mountains, supported weak moments, rejoiced successes. Became closer many relatives, strange bond born, shared pain turned real family. I set phone, returned photo view, choose best evening presentation. Tough task. 2 years published works, several prestigious magazines, released photo book, hidden Boston good critic reviews. Not celebrity, but certain circles new name. Emily Carter, heard male voice light accent. Sorry bother, saw exhibit yesterday, amazing works. I looked up. Before me tall man, 60s, neat grey beard, kind eyes, stranger, but something vaguely familiar. Thanks, smiled, very nice here. Mind if join? Indicated free chair, like talk possible collaboration. Course, set laptop aside, dash represent publisher question mark, not quite. Saturday, handed card. Francis Moreau, Contemporary Art Gallery Detroit. Interested your solo exhibit? I took card, surveying surprised. Solo exhibit, Michigan, unexpected flattering. Very interesting offer, Mr. Moreau, said, but why me? Many more famous photographers here. You special view. Expressive hand gesture. Your works, depth, story. Not just pretty pics, feel lived pain overcoming. Hooks, I looked surprised, how accurately caught essence. My photos indeed born pain, desire see world anew own eyes, not through imposed prism. Thanks such insight, said sincerely, need think your offer. Course, smiled, here more contact info, await decision, handed another card, this handwritten phone email numbers, handwriting, that handwriting. I froze, gazing neat letters, heart skipped, then raced. Knew handwriting too well, set card table. Michael, whispered. James. He didn't flinch, only paled slightly. Pardon? French accent stronger. Mistaking someone? Don't think, I set card down. What this? Another mask? Another role? He paused, sighed, removed glasses. Eyes same, blue-green tint. Eyes saw every day 20 years. Hello, Emily, said no accent. Didn't think you'd recognize. Handwriting, nodded card. Always wrote a special curl, numbers right tilt. Some things can't change, try. We silent, gazing each. Weighted storm emotions, anger, offense, pain, but inside strange emptiness. Like met old acquaintance crossed work once, no more, less. Why masquerade? Finally asked. Why approach? Offer exhibit. What games? No games, shook head. Gallery real, offer genuine. Just wanted see you, make sure okay. I'm fine, leaned back. Better ever. And you, see, changed name, look, country again. Not tired running. He smiled sadly. Last 2 years live here, Michigan. Bought gallery legally by way. All docs order, Francis Moreau my official name, leased here. Congrats, crossed arms. Settled again. And family? Got new wife? Or two at once? He winced like physical pain. No, Emily, alone stay alone. Enough me, double lives. Wow, raised brow, such wisdom. What changed? I changed, simple reply. Losing you both, rethought much. Realized egoist, how much pain caused those loved. Loved, bitter smirk. Not love, obsession, desire possess, control. Maybe nodded, not psychologist. No, only miss you, Alex, Sarah, Ryan, every day. So why flowers yearly? Guessed. Reminder yourself? Not only, lowered eyes, tribute respect. Guilt admission, attempt somehow atone what did. I examined him, aged, greyed, still handsome man, once loved truly, now stranger before me. How new festival? Asked. Dash followed me? No, shook head. Subscribed mag you publish. Saw announcement. Your name participants. Decided risk. Why? Don't know, spread hands. Maybe wanted apologize personally. Maybe just see how live without me. Live great, said firmly. Interesting work, friends, hobbies, travel, photograph, write, enjoy every day. Glad, smiled, sincere something. Really glad. Deserve happiness. And Sarah? Asked. Dash, follow her too. No, shook head, but sometimes see interviews fashion mags. Achieved big success, right? Always new talented. Happy, said. We both happy without you. Nodded, taking blow. Understand unforgivably ruined your lives quietly, said. But maybe did something good. Forced you both out comfort zone, start new life, find selves. Don't credit our achievements, shook head. Achieved ourselves, despite circumstances, not thanks, of course. Hastily nodded. Not what meant. Just glad found strength rise after what did. Many break. We silent again. Waiter brought coffee, ordered my interlocutor. He stirred spoon absently, gazing lake. No, suddenly said, still not regret meeting you both, you and Sarah. Made me better, even if undeserved. Thanks you have sons, most wonderful guys world, and happy days memories more than deserved. I looked, trying see sincere or another mask roll. What want me? Asked directly. What achieved this meeting? Nothing, shook head. Really nothing. Maybe just forgiveness. No, too presumptuous. Understanding unlikely. Probably just wanted to see you once more. Say despite everything, you important me, most important my life. Strangely believed. Eyes had sincerity never saw before, maybe losing all, really understood something. Don't hold grudge, finally said. True. Did at first, then let go. Life too short waste on grudges. Thanks, exhaled like dropped weight. More could hope. But not mean want see you, added. Or keep relations. All past. Understand, nodded. Absolutely. I'll go, not bother more. Only can ask one question. What? Alex swallowed. How he? What does? Happy. Hesitated. Right now, son? Other hand, bad tell? Finished university, works IT company, said. Recently married classmate, good girl, suit each other, happy. Married? Eyes widened. My boy married? Didn't know. Didn't write you? Surprised. Strange. Told have way contact through lawyer. Thought use. No, shook head. Not word. Probably didn't want. Understand. Eyes teared real, not acted. First all acquaintance saw real emotions, no mask, no fake. And Ryan? Asked. Communicate him? Occasionally. Wiped eyes. Email, dry, formal. Didn't forgive, right does. And know each other. Question long tormented. Alex and Ryan? Not from me, shook head. Not intervene your life, kept word. We silent. I gazed lake, distant hills, yachts gliding water, beautiful peaceful landscape, odd contrast storm emotions inside. Our sons met, suddenly said, year ago acquainted accidentally. What? Flinched. How? At IT conference. Involuntarily smiled, recalling day. Ryan presented quantum computing talk. Alex audience. After approached question, chatted, and learned. Voice trembled. Brothers? Not immediately. Shook head, but started communicate. Much common, interests, views, even habits. Then talked families. Found dads suspiciously similar, dug deeper. My God. Covered face hands. And what they called us Sarah. Invited meeting, arranged confrontation basically, demanded explanations. And told truth. Looked horror. Whole truth? Yes, nodded. Right now, both. Sat head low, shoulders slumped, fingers clenched. They probably hate me, whispered. Not quite, shrugged. Shocked, sure, angry. Alex not talk weak, thought hid truth deliberately. But then accepted situation, even found positive. What? Raised head. Gained each other, smiled. Brothers 25 years unaware, now inseparable. Alex best man, Ryan's wedding half-year ago. Ryan helps Alex start-up project. Friend families, wives friended too. Ryan wife too? Looked amazement. Yes, nodded. Met institute, married last winter. Wonderful girl, physicist, match him. Knew nothing. Shook head. Nothing. Ryan not write me. Maybe not want share personal, suggested. But both happy, believe. Don't hate you. Rather pity. Pity? Raised brows, yes, nodded. Pity man couldn't choose one road, bounced two lives, finding peace neither. Man ended alone, no family, no real roots, fake name foreign country. Flinched, like struck. Maybe was. Words truth. Right, finally said. Really only sympathize. Made wrong choice 25 years ago, paying still. We silent again. Wind lake, ruffled tablecloth, swayed tree branches, pots. Quiet music somewhere. Tell them, faltered, if chance, tell sons love both, proud, ask forgiveness everything. Will, promised. Though think no, nodded, rose, placed money coffee. Time go, said. Thanks listened, didn't drive away immediately. More deserved. Wait, suddenly said, and exhibit. Offer still. Looked surprised. Course gallery real, didn't lie. But really want. Why not? Shrugged. Business relations, nothing personal. I'm photographer, you're gallery owner. Simple. Good, nodded, pulling new card. Here all contacts, my assistant Pierre. He'll arrange details. Took card, tucked bag. Goodbye, said. Luck you sincerely. Goodbye, Emily. Weak smile. Be happy. He left. I stayed gazing lake. Strange feeling. No anger, no offense. Something like liberation. Like last thread tying past snapped. Now truly free. Evening called Sarah, told meeting, talk, exhibit offer. What decided? Asked. About gallery. Agree probably. Shrugged. Why not? Just work. Not weird deal him after all. No pondered. Used be weird, but today understood no longer feel anything him. No love, no hate. Became just past person, episode biography. Understand her voice thoughtful. Hard me relate yet, glad you could. You can too, said confidently. Time. Main look forward, not back. Right, paused. By way, coming New Year's. Boys gathering me wives, fun. Course come, smiled. I won't miss our first family holiday. Family, echoed. Yes, exactly. Became family, right? Strange, unusual but real. Real, agreed. Know what? Maybe supposed happen. Maybe go through all find each other. Our sons find each other. Maybe, sighed. Life strange. Never know what's best, worst. Recalled said same words 2 years ago, my Boston kitchen. Then just starting healing path. Now seemed completed. No, said gazing sunset lake, grateful fate that day, toolbox accidentally fell, revealed secrets. Without I'd live lie, not know capable, not find real self. And we wouldn't meet, quietly said, not become friends, family. Exactly, smiled. All best, Grandma said, even scariest shocks lead good. Just muster courage, go through pain. Talked long kids, grandkids sure appear few years, joint plans, future, life continues despite. If enjoyed story, hit like button subscribe channel, motivates create new interesting stories daily. Don't miss new video see main screen right now, all best be happy.